Finnigan Jones was not your average boy. He lived in a big, bustling city, but Finnigan longed for adventure. He dreamt of faraway lands and magical creatures. While other children played video games, Finnigan explored. He loved to read books about explorers and their amazing discoveries. One sweltering summer afternoon, Finnigan felt restless. He wandered into the attic of his house. The attic was dark and dusty, filled with forgotten things. Old furniture loomed in the shadows, covered in white sheets. Finnigan's eyes sparkled with curiosity. He loved exploring the attic. It was like a treasure chest of forgotten stories. Each object whispered tales of the past. He imagined the people who had once cherished these things. A ray of sunlight pierced through a crack in the wall. It illuminated a corner that Finnigan had never noticed before. A strange symbol was etched onto the wall. It looked ancient and mysterious. Finnigan's heart pounded. He ran his fingers over the symbol. It felt strangely warm to the touch. As he pressed against it, he felt a faint click. A section of the wall swung inwards, revealing a dark opening. It was a hidden door. Finnigan grabbed a dusty lantern and lit it. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. The air was cool and damp. Cobwebs brushed against his face. A narrow passageway stretched before him. It was too narrow to stand up straight, so Finnigan crouched low. He crept forward, his heart pounding with anticipation. He had a good feeling about this. The passageway opened into a small circular room. Dust motes danced in the pale moonlight that streamed through a single high window. In the center of the room stood a magnificent clock, but this was no ordinary clock. This clock was taller than Finnigan. Its intricate carvings depicted strange creatures and swirling vines. The pendulum was a mesmerizing emerald green, swinging back and forth with a soft, rhythmic tick-tock. As Finnigan approached the clock, he felt a strange energy emanating from it. He reached out and touched the clock's face. Suddenly, the room began to spin. Finnigan felt a lurch in his stomach as if he were on a roller coaster. He closed his eyes, waiting for the dizziness to pass. When he opened his eyes again, he was no longer in the dusty attic room. Finnigan found himself in an emerald green forest, bathed in warm sunlight. Towering trees reached for the sky, their branches heavy with exotic fruits. The air buzzed with the sounds of strange insects and the chatter of unseen birds. A tiny winged creature with shimmering wings hovered before him. It had bright, mischievous eyes and a mischievous grin. "Welcome to Whispering Woods," the creature chirped. "I am Flicker, a sprite of this forest, and you must be Finnigan." Finnigan was astounded. He had never seen anything like Flicker before. The sprite was small enough to fit in his hand, yet it spoke perfect English. He learned that the forest was also home to gnomes, each a master of a unique craft. There was Willow, the weaver of dreams, who taught Finnigan about the power of imagination. He met Stony, the earth gnome, who showed him the hidden language of rocks and trees. One day, a shadow fell over the Whispering Woods. Flicker brought dire news. A band of greedy goblins planned to steal the forest's most prized possession, the seed of evergrowth. This magical seed was hidden deep within the Whispering Woods, guarded by ancient magic. It was the source of the forest's life and vitality. "The goblins are cunning and greedy," Flicker explained, his voice trembling. "They want to use the seed's magic for their own selfish purposes. They want to rule the forest." Finnigan knew he had to help his new friends. He had read about goblins in his books. He knew how dangerous they could be. He met with the gnomes. They huddled together, their faces etched with worry. "We must protect the seed," said Willow, the Dreamweaver. "But how?" asked Stony, the Earth Gnome. Section 6, Seeds of Courage, Buds of Friendship. Finnigan listened closely. He remembered something from his adventure books. He shared his idea with the gnomes. The gnomes were skeptical at first, but Finnigan's courage and determination convinced them. Together they devised a plan to outsmart the goblins. It was a risky plan, but they were determined to protect their home. Finnigan felt a surge of courage. He had never felt so brave, so needed. He had found a place where he truly belonged. The gnomes shared their knowledge with Finnigan. Willow gave him a pouch of shimmering dream dust. "This will help you see through the goblin's tricks," she said. Stony presented him with a smooth grey stone. "This stone will make you as silent as the earth itself," he explained. Section 7, Outsmarting the Greed. The night the goblins arrived was tense. Finnigan and the gnomes waited, their hearts pounding. They could hear the goblins' rough voices echoing through the trees. The ground trembled with their heavy footsteps. Just as the goblins reached the clearing where the seed was hidden, Finnigan put their plan into action. He sprinkled Willow's dream dust, creating a thick fog that confused the goblins. He moved silently with Stoney's stone, leading the goblins away from the seed. The goblins, blinded by the fog and tricked by Finnigan's clever diversions, stumbled around in confusion. They were completely outsmarted. Section 8. The clock strikes home. The forest was safe. Finnigan, exhausted but exhilarated, felt the familiar pull of the magical clock. It was time to return home. He said goodbye to his friends, promising to visit again soon. He hugged Flicker tightly. He would miss the sprite's cheerful company. As he touched the clock's face, the forest around him dissolved into a dizzying swirl of colors. When he opened his eyes, he was back in the dusty attic room. The clock chimed softly, as if bidding him farewell. He was back in his own world, but everything looked different. Section 9, a world tinged with magic. Finnigan emerged from the attic, his heart overflowing with memories and his mind buzzing with newfound wisdom. He carried the lessons of the Whispering Woods within him. He had faced his fears, learned the value of true friendship, and discovered the power of courage and kindness. The city didn't seem so ordinary anymore. Now he saw magic everywhere. He saw it in the way the sunlight danced on the leaves, in the patterns of the clouds, and in the smiles of strangers. His adventure had changed him. Finnegan Jones had found his own hidden world, a world filled with magic, wonder, and the enduring power of friendship. And he knew with a certainty that warmed his heart that this was just the beginning of his adventures.